Hello, guys. We are live. Let me go live on Instagram and let me make sure I have me some audio because I can't get going without some audio, okay? Hello, you guys. Y'all, look at me. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome. So today I have. Okay, there's my audio. Thank you. Y'all, I have no presentation tonight, okay? I was literally putting up my wallpaper. So, as you can see, I was putting up my wallpaper, so I didn't get a chance to um, create a presentation. But y'all want to know something? That is not an excuse, honey, because this message came to me very early in my day. I'm gonna just be completely honest. I Today was one of those days for me. Okay, it was just one of those days, and you know, I was just so excited about the message. I didn't get a chance to really put it together like I wanted to. But before I get started today, y'all, I want to talk about something that I feel like is very, very important for me to mention tonight because, sorry, y'all, I just want to fix this camera up just a little bit because I think it is a little too low. Yes, I think that's better. Okay, so there are some things I want to mention before I get started on today's message. If you have ever been called to YouTube, right? If you have ever desired to ever do YouTube ever in your life, I want you to reconsider it because YouTube is a very good opportunity. And if you look and think about YouTube in a business aspect, you will really begin to see the benefits in starting a YouTube channel. At first, when I first started this challenge, I definitely didn't go into it with the mentality of this is a business. But once I seen how I really truly could leverage my gifts and talents on here, I was like, this is exactly what God is calling me to in this season. God is calling me to really take this YouTube thing seriously as a business. When I say it as a business, I mean you are going to be responsible for promoting your channel as if it is like your business, right? And I want you to think about this in your mind. Don't think about this as YouTube. When you log in and you click on the YouTube app, it says video sharing, right? Video sharing company. And you have to understand what they are doing with how they are leveraging your talents, right? They run ads on your videos. If you are inside of the YouTube partner program, they now have the permission to run ads on your video, right? And so they'll pay you a percentage of whatever, blah blah blah, right? You yourself need to leverage this type of advertising too. They know that you have an audience. They know you have a community. They know that you have people that is watching you. And so that's why you're not allowed to get into the program until you have 1,000 people following you because they feel like that is enough eyes for whatever ad they run. There's a pretty good chance that they're going to get at least 1%. They're going to get at least one person to buy something from this particular ad. And so that's why people invest into advertising because they know it's going to give them some traffic. So you have to leverage this opportunity like that. If this is being called to you, I learned that this opportunity is not called to everybody. And I understand that. I had to work through some blockages today. Like I just had a lot of blockages to work through today to see why God has called me to this particular platform. And like I said, I talked about in my other videos that, hi, thanks for joining. How are you guys? I'm going to go ahead and I didn't, think about it in this way. But as I've been becoming more serious about this, I'm like, oh no, this is definitely a business. God has definitely called me to this. God called me to this platform probably like 7 years ago, but I've never been in this position, right? I've never been in this position to be able to, uh, run it like it's a business. So also before we get started on the message, I wanted to put my goal out there because I feel like when I speak my goals out to the universe, that's when I really truly receive them. And so my goal for this 30-day live event, I think this is day 12. So yay, I made it to day 12. So with this 30-day live event, my goal is to at least activate one person, one soul. My goal is to get one soul activated, fully embodied after this 30-day live event. God and I did not come to play. We have things to do. We have people to inspire. We have people to encourage. We have people to really get into a better place in their lives. And so nothing that God and I talk about in this season, in this 30-day live event, is to be played with. Is not to be taken lightly. I know I'm coming on here showing up in a very creative way, like as far as my thumbnails and stuff like that, but I'm dead serious about the things I'm talking about because they are working in my life and it is changing my life. So that is why God had me share these things because it is happening in my life and God has given it to me first. So I also want to say, yes, I put my goal out there. I want to get at least one person fully embodied because you deserve it. And that's why I had made that video. Do it for the one. Do it for the one that you are wanting to inspire. And so that is why I'm on here tonight because there's always at least one person that come and watch me every night. And I really appreciate that one person. Whoever that one person is, they come and watch me every night. They come and watch me every night, and I really appreciate that. It might be a couple people that come on, but they don't stay long. People like, that's a girl, that's an hour. But that one person, they be staying. They be staying for the whole thing. So I don't have a presentation tonight, but I definitely have my notes. So if you see me looking down, that is what I'm doing. So the title, Visualization Technique to Manifest Your Highest Timeline. Visualization technique to manifest your highest timeline, y'all. This is lethal information. Okay. And when I say lethal, I'm not playing. Like this is a threat to people who don't want you to have this kind of information. This is lethal. That's how serious you need to take this message. Like, I got into the spiritual bath, y'all. Y'all know I've been on this. Oh, that's what I'm about to say. Let's move back. I just got the spiritual bath, y'all. And like I said, every single time I get in the spiritual bath, I come out a brand new person in a brand new mindset because it is cleansing my aura. Meaning anything that might be blocking me from channeling, blocking me from receiving messages, anything is going to cleanse my aura. And so I am on a 21-day, 21-day spiritual bath ceremony challenge. If you want to join me, I'm going to put the products that I use in my description box. You can go find them at my eBay store. If you want to support my store, obviously you can find stuff on Amazon, but if you want to support my store and get it from me, I have the Dead Sea salt in there. I also have the bath liners because I don't sit right in my tub. I use bath liners, and I also have the filter that I use, the carbon filter that I use to filter out my shower water, so that way I don't have to, basically sit in gunky water. I make sure that what I'm sitting in is actually, cleansing, is actually filtered water. So if you're interested in join me, start your own 21 days because not only is your aura being cleansed, your skin will be so rejuvenated, y'all. Today I was wearing like shorts and I brushed past my leg skin. I'm like, ooh, girl, that's soft. So, but I haven't experienced that because before I started this challenge, I wasn't doing it consistently every day. I was just doing it like, once a week, or if I could possibly make it in my day twice a week. But every single day for the past week has definitely changed the game for my skin, but also changed the game for how I'm able to show up for you guys. So join me, join me. If you want to see some differences in your life, join me on this challenge, spiritual bathing ceremony. Okay. So visualization technique to manifest your highest timeline. So today I was sitting and I was just kind of thinking like, okay, what would you like what would you God, what would you like me to talk about today to your people? Like, what is something that that's new, but still aligns with what I'm passionate about talking about, right? Because if you don't know by now, I love all things manifestation, universe, God, quantum reality, stuff like that, reprogramming the subconscious mind. Those things, that's so me, right? That's my personality. That's honestly what I've been attracted to for the past 7 years that I've really been studying. So, um, before we get into the technique, I want you to ask yourself some questions. But let's go over the basis of what a visualization technique is. Basically, you're going to prioritize yourself some time to sit down and visualize your highest self, right? Visualize what your highest self look like. What is your highest self doing? What is he or she talking about, right? Because you want to understand what your message is. And when you can understand your message, you can understand the person that is around that message, right? So if you have a certain message on your heart, you can pretty much understand who you would be and what you would look like, right? How are you talking? What is your communication style? What is your voice like? And so you're going to basically sit down and you're going to be asking yourself these kind of questions, right? This is just the basis of it, but I'm going to get deeper into how you can, go deeper into this technique, into this, into this technique. So, but the first thing I want to ask before you get started, and this is a question you can ask yourself before you get started, right? Because this is something that I did before I got started. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I just began to visualize my highest self. I am on a 180-day millionaire challenge, right? And so I am on day 140, I believe. And so the way I set it up was I started out in the root chakra and I made my way up. So I've made it to the third eye chakra. And so every single chakra, I spent 24 days in these particular chakras trying to activate, try to move blockages, just moving the energy around in those particular chakras. I spent 24 days in each chakra, and I've seen magic happen by just giving each chakra that undivided attention. And so I've made it to the third eye chakra. And so what I'm learning being in this third eye chakra activation is my vision has been heightened, right? So throughout my day, I'm receiving visions of my highest self anyway. And I'm not saying that because you might not be receiving visions of yourself throughout the day that you cannot do this. But God has called me to do this because I am receiving visions of my highest self so often, right? More in my life at this time. So God was like, I need you to have this formula so you can put this to work because you are receiving so many messages and downloads at this time. So I was like, well, let me bring this to people because whenever you see this, that means you're ready. That means that you are ready. So if you are seeing this, that means that you are ready to begin visualizing and sitting down and doing this particular technique. So with First things first, are you afraid to dream the biggest dream you've ever dreamt? That's going to be the first thing you're going to have to ask yourself, because this technique is for you to access your highest timeline, not the timeline where you live in this materialistic plane where you are living in your dream house, driving your dream car, doing your dream business, whatever. That's not big enough. There is a dream that is on your heart that you are afraid to go after because you feel like you lack the abundance to access it. You don't feel like you have access to the opportunities that you need to have in order to live out this large dream. So this technique will be very difficult and you will have to work through some blockages if you are afraid to dream the biggest dream. That dream you continue to put off and say, I can do this instead. I know I could move this around and do this in the meantime, right? No, God is calling you to your highest timeline in this season, right now. I said, if you're watching this video, I'm talking to you. You are the one that's ready to begin to visualize yourself, to visualize your highest timeline, because we don't have any more time. We've been waiting long enough. Aren't you tired of waiting? Aren't you tired of waiting? You've been waiting long enough for your opportunity to come. So this technique will get you into your highest timeline, okay? So that is something that you need to ask yourself. Am I afraid to dream that biggest dream? And if so, there will be a blockage for you. You need to get to the root of your fear, right? You need to get to the root of what that fear is. And so I just want to share with you guys what mine was. Mine was not thinking I had access to an abundance to get there, right? And that's what we feel. We are dreaming these big dreams from a state of lack, right? From a state of scarcity, from a state of competition, from a state of there's not enough. And so when we think about these big dreams, we know we're going to need a bunch of people. We know we're going to need a team. We know we're going to need a lot of money, right? And we know we're going to need God. And so when you don't have God, first and foremost, of course you feel that lack because you're missing God. But when you're embodied and when you're activated, then you feel you have access to more opportunity, to people, to money, right? And so that's the first step, getting you activated, getting you embodied in what your purpose is. Because when you are in your purpose, then that's when you really have a chance to go after that big dream you have. Because you have them. You have them. Not the dreams you didn't took on because you watched somebody else do it, right? I'm talking about the ones that's for you, the one you've been dreaming since you were young. Your dreams are made up of your experiences, right? That big dream you have that you've been cultivating, that you've been putting together and refining throughout your adult life. Or if you're young, you've been doing it since you were a young child. There's been experiences that you've had that has made you desire this big dream. And that's the one I'm talking about. Yes, that one that just came into your mind. That one right there. That's the dream I'm talking about. And that's the one that you're afraid to go after because you're feeling that lack of abundance, right? So let's talk about the steps that we're going to take to inside of this technique so you can access your highest timeline, okay? So step one, seek out some inspiration when you're ready to begin your visualizing session, okay? So what I did when I first did this was, give me a second, y'all. It's so hot. Oh my God, y'all. I was so surprised how hot it was today. I'm like 87 degrees. Like, huh? Where? Like, where did this come from? It was just 40 degrees last week, but that's Ohio, y'all. So, you know, you got to expect anything. It could be 40 degrees tomorrow. Like, that's why a lot of people are bipolar here because, you know, The weather just saying it's just all over the place. But anyways, um, seek out inspiration when you're ready to begin this process, right? Because you need to see somebody else doing what it is that you want to do, right? How are these people moving about, right? So here's an example. If you want to become a serial entrepreneur, or if you want to become a someone who owns a dog grooming store, or whatever the dream may be, go to YouTube, type in "day in a life of a um, bakery goods owner," whatever it is, a boutique owner, nail shop owner, spa owner, whatever it is, type it in so you can watch them do what it is that they're doing, right? Because you need that inspiration. You need to see what it looks like for you to be embodied and activated in that way. And here is a couple things that you want to pay attention to. This is step two. So, step one is to go find yourself some inspiration, because there was somebody out there living the dream that you would like to live, doing what it is that you would like to do, and it's not the people that's around you. So you're not getting any inspiration from the people around you. You need to go find some. And that's why YouTube is such a good opportunity, because people are putting themselves out here. They're letting you get into their daily life of what it is that they're doing. And why is this important? To go find some inspiration and go inside their daily life. Because I'm going to tell you, step two, notice the conversation you are having whilst watching this inspiration. You're having a conversation with yourself and with God while you're watching this person live in their purpose, right? Live in what it is that you would like to do. Also, here are some things that you can look for. Look for things like the habits that they have, right? Because this is what they mean by study the greats. You need to see the habits that they have, because you need to begin to take on those same habits. You don't you're not just going to go watch nobody do nothing. You're going to go see, number one, the conversation that you're having with yourself while you're watching. Number two, what kind of habits do they have, right? Look for the energy that they have, right? Most of the time when somebody's activated in their business, they're fully in a purpose, their business success is successful, their energy is different, right? And so look at their energy. Also look for different opportunities that's around them. 9 times out of 10, when you go into the day of the life of somebody, they have more than one opportunity around them. So look for the opportunities that they have around them, because that may be a gym to where you could take on right now for yourself. You may not be able to afford um, a doggy daycare right now, but it may be an opportunity that's around them that you could do right now to get you to that place, right? To fund the other dream that you have. So also look for any themes that they have in their life, because if they're successful on YouTube, it's because they've created some kind of niche, some kind of theme in their life that's bringing people to their channel. Like I watched a girl, she was a successful lash business, whatever, and what drew people to her channel was that she liked the color pink. Everything in her house was pink, her car was pink, all this other stuff, right? And so she just found people that resonated with her. So that just created more traffic. So look for any kind of themes that they have going on in their life. Two, look for their level of worthiness, right? When you're watching these people be in their daily life, they will demonstrate their worthiness to the reader, to the person that's watching their videos, in everything that they do, right? All the actions that they take, and the type of car they're driving, the type of house they live in, um, the way they speak about themselves, the way they carry themselves, their confidence, all this stuff is showing you that they're worthy of whatever it is. They've had to get to that point first before they could get those opportunities that's around them. And that's why I tell you to look for these kind of things. Also, look for characteristic traits that they have, right? So if you watching somebody and you see they got a big heart, that's a characteristic trait you know you need to take on in order to live that type of lifestyle that you want to see yourself in. Like, don't go looking for no videos that don't align with what you're trying to do. because you need to take these particular steps in order to begin to create this visualization technique, right? So look for characteristic traits. They might have a lot of integrity, right? They may be very enthusiastic. They may be very disciplined and focused. They may be very obedient, right? They may be consistent. Like look for these characteristic traits so that way you know, okay, in order to get to where it is that they had to do these certain things. So that means I must need to take those things on. Yeah, it's this simple, y'all. It is this simple for you to change your life, but you have to be willing to do the work. So, step 3, ask yourself if that is what's possible, right? So you just watched this video. You just became inspired by this person. And let's back up real quick before we get to step 3. In step 2, there was a conversation that you were having with yourself while you were watching this video. You might have said, oh, I probably won't ever be able to, live that kind of life. Yeah, I probably will never be able to say those type of things. I probably will never be able to communicate in that way. You need to be writing down all the things that are coming up for you so you can begin to ask yourself these questions on why you feel like that. Because those are just blockages. That's not the truth, right? Those things you're hearing is not necessarily your truth. It's just that that is a blockage. And you need to get down to the root of why you're feeling like that, right? Because I think we talked about money 2 days ago. We talked about how we have been programmed to believe that people that are in a position to be great is because they had money to begin with. And it's not. And it's not. They had to work just like everybody else to get to that position that they're in, right? So these are the questions that you're going to be asking yourself. Because I was watching a woman earlier and I was like, the biggest thing that came up for me was, oh my gosh, I don't have as much focus that she does, right? I'm like, I need to really increase my focus if I want to be able to get to that point where I can flow from one task to the next without completely ignoring, what's going on over in another part of my life. So excuses will come up. So many things. Excuses will come up like, oh, whatever the excuses may be for why you don't feel like you could be living in that reality, not necessarily looking like theirs, but more so taking on the opportunity that they have, right? Because this is your dream. This is what you would like to do. So most people see people that's successful and they have big teams around them. You don't need no big, he started alone. Everybody started somewhere. He started alone. She started alone. They just grown big enough to have a team, but they've done so much inner work. They've overcame so many things to get to that place that you are seeing. And so you have to begin where they began, in the beginning, working through the issues and the blockages that you might have that's blocking you from moving forward in your purpose, right? So this is why you want to go out and find some inspiration, because it's going to get your juices flowing. You're going to start thinking about, because some people are not thinking about their dreams. Most are though, but they're not thinking about how they can get there. They just have these dreams on their heart and they want to get there, but they just don't know how to get there. And so that's why God and I have gone into partnership on this YouTube so that way we can show people how to do it. So bringing techniques like this so you can begin to access parts of yourself that you didn't even know was there. And so when you do find yourself, you plug yourself into techniques like this. Okay, so ask yourself if inspiration is inspiration, right? So you should be feeling inspired by whatever you have chosen to watch. You shouldn't be like, oh, dang, well, you should be inspired, okay? You should be inspired by whatever it is you watch it because this is what you want to do, right? So, hold on, y'all. I think the baby just woke up. One of those babies. One of those babies just woke up. But anyways, ask yourself this: if this is what's possible, right? Because that person is doing what they're doing because it's a possibility out here, right? It's not happening because only that person um, is made to do that. Like only this person can be successful at what it is that he doing or what it is that she doing. It's He's doing it because it's a possibility. And that's what y'all have to start looking at things as. When you see people doing really good in their life, you should look at that and say, thank you for showing me what's possible. That is the energy that's been over me this past week is thank you for showing me what's possible. It's been so many things that's been popping up and I've been like, thank you for showing me what's possible. I haven't been looking at it from a space of defeat, like, oh, I can't do that. So when you get to step 3, you ask yourself, if that is what's possible, if I just watch this person live the kind of life that I would like to live similarly, right? Who could I become then? If that is what's possible, what do I look like in that place? Who could I become in that place? Right? And so when you put yourself there, you begin to start visualizing yourself. You just have to pay attention enough to the signs and the clues that you are actually visualizing this higher part of yourself, right? Even when you are watching the video, you are placing yourself there. Even when you're watching the video, you are placing yourself there. But 2 people are watching, your highest self and your ego, right? And so that conversation you're having with yourself, with your highest self, the ego might be saying, oh, I probably cannot do stuff like that. Your highest self is excited, is inspired, and ready to go. But the ego self is trying to keep you in a space of a safety net, like, so you're having 2 different conversations. So that's what I mean by you're going to have to figure out what those blockages are. Give me a second, y'all. the babies the babies have go to sleep to the sound, and I don't want it to be too loud. But so where was I? 2 people, right? 2 people are watching this video, and you want to be aware of that fact, because you want to be aware of what it is that God would like for you. What it is that God would like for you. So who could you become? Dream big enough when you are doing this step 3, when you are asking yourself this question, when you are saying, well, who could I become? Make sure whatever you say or whatever you dream up or whatever you visualize, that is enough space for God to fit in it. And that's why I said, whenever you are going after your dreams, they have to be big enough for God to come down with God's influence. God has to fit in it. And so when you just want materialistic things, God can't fit in it. It has to be backed by purpose, because that's the only thing God can fit in. God can't fit when you just want a life where you got nice flashy clothes and cars and the woman of your dreams and the man of your dreams and kids and white picket fences. God can't fit in that. So whatever it is that you're going to be doing and visualizing, God has to fit. The dream got to be big enough, because God well, I could come down there and do that in 2 months. Whatever it is that you're asking for, that little flashy car and like a house, I can do that in 2 months. I need something bigger than that, because we can get that done on the way. That's how God feel. Oh, we can get all of that other, stuff on the way. In the meantime, we can get that done. But what are you on your way to, though? What are you on your way to? That's how big you need to be dreaming. where it's going to require you to take, it's going to take some time to get there, to see it. But God is going to take care of you in the meantime. You're going to have all of that because God wants everything for you, all things for you. So you're going to have that nice car, that nice house, because you're going to be in a process of where you are seducing, where you are enchanting, where you are magnetizing, where you are attracting everything that's for you. So all of that stuff gonna come anyway, because you're gonna be in alignment with it. But while you're building your dream, that's the type of stuff that's going to be happening, right? That stuff is easy for God. That's already done. And so what can you do? How big can you dream that keeps God busy, right? Because that feels like, if you think about it, when I started visualizing, it did start off very surface level. It started off very surface level for me, and it felt empty and it felt voided. Because I was saying stuff like, actually, you know what? Let me get my book so I can share with y'all, because I did it earlier. I was saying stuff like, I wanted a live-in nanny, right? Because I feel like, well, if I have a live-in nanny, then that means that I would be able to move how I need to. I was saying stuff like, wait, is that? Oh, I was writing down like, I deserve royalty, luxury, all things just plush, right? And God, like, okay, all that is great, but like, what else? Because we can get that done in, like, again, 3 months, 2 months. Because when your dream is so big, right? When you have a big dream, when your dream is so big, everything else that's in the way of this dream will be taken care of, right? You're not going to have to wait. There is a meantime in between time. And so you're going to have to live your life in the meantime. You're going to have to set an example for people, for your community in the meantime. And God is going to provide you with everything that might look like for you to get the vision across. Because your vision is not for you. Your vision is for the community, to inspire somebody, to activate somebody, to embody somebody else. So when you know that, when you know your purpose is to inspire somebody else other than yourself, everything that you're thinking of and asking for and envisioning for yourself is going to be taken care of, because that's a part of the vision that God has, to inspire somebody else. So when you get to thinking about these materialistic things, that's done. So I'm saying that, and I'm driving that home, because I want you to dream bigger than those things. Who is God? Who is God in the process of all these material luxury things? Who is God in that process? Who is God becoming in that process? You are a God of your own flesh. And so who is the God body, right? Who is the God body? What do that look like? If you a goddess, who is the goddess body, right? And so one thing I had to understand was, oh, honey, I'm very enchanting. I'm very seductive and sensual. I can seduce you if I want to, right? That can be turned on. I could tap that in. And so as a goddess, that's the energy you have to enchant, to magnetize things to you. That's the power you have as a woman. You're hypnotizing. That's why you got hips. That's why you got hips, honey. That's your power. So that is who you must be first. You must be that magnet. You must be attracting, right? That's purpose right there. You must be seductive. And a lot of people have to debunk the sexual trauma around seduction. It don't have nothing to do with sex. You're supposed to be seducing the universe. You're supposed to be attracting and enchanting the universe. You're not talking to people anyway. You're talking to the universe. So when you get on and you are talking to people, you get on with that energy. You get on with that energy because you're speaking to the universe. You're manipulating and bending the biophotons in the atmosphere. So you're bending reality when you do this type of stuff. Every single time, don't miss to bend reality in your favor. This is what quantum leaping is about. This is what living in that quantum reality is about. And so write out all the things you need to access that you need access to, right? To make this vision come alive. Don't think about lack, don't think about scarcity, don't think about competition, how somebody else might be doing it, whatever. Just write down all the things that you need to have access to in order to make this vision happen. So what is it that if you need to get in the gym because you got a shape and your dream is to be a boxer, right? Or you got a shape and your dream is to be a dancer, then you need to go get in the gym, right? So if that means you need to hire a personal trainer, this is worthiness. This is what it means to be worthy. You have to feel worthy enough to write this stuff down and write this stuff out. Because if you don't get it out your mind, it's not coming into your reality. It's going to stay right in there. And so the first step is to get it on a pen, piece of paper. That's the first step, to get it on some paper. So don't worry about limitations. Worry about what it is that you need to have access to make what it is, this dream that you're having happen, right? Hi, Instagram, welcome. Who's watching? Hi. Time. Oh, thank you. Hi, Rody. Hello, just saw your channel for the first time. They say make your dream so big it scares you. Yes. When I was doing my visualizing, if you're still on, Rody, when I was doing my visualizing earlier, that's why I was having a blockage because I was so afraid to dream that big. I was like, are we really about to dream that big? Like, are we about to go that way in that manner? Is it possible? But God just said, get yourself in the opportunity. Things will come together for you. Things will definitely come together for you. So you just have to be brave enough to take that chance. But I'm giving you the technique so you can begin to get all of this stuff down on paper, okay? So it can become real for you. You want this to become a real thing for you. I'm so glad that somebody's on here. Yay! Because sometimes I'll be talking to myself, but if anybody knows me personally, I'm always talking to myself, so I don't mind that. But still, it's good to have somebody on. So where were we? Right? Yes. Write down all the things you need to have access to make this vision happen. So whatever you need to change. So if you need to become, for me, I need to become a whole entire vegan, raw vegan lifestyle for me. I have to, because that's what God wants for me. And so we have to write out all the things that God wants for us and what God needs access to make this vision happen. And so you cannot be afraid to write this stuff out. You have to write this stuff out. But that's why the very first question was, are you afraid to dream the biggest dream you've ever dreamt? Because you have to move. The visualization process requires you have to be able to move that way. You have to move that way. And so if you have a blockage and you are afraid to dream, now you are in limit because you've stopped yourself from going there mentally. You've stopped yourself from going there mentally. Your body is not going to follow you anywhere. So if you're visualizing, y'all, I don't want you to miss this. I don't want you to miss how important this visualizing technique is. If your mind is going somewhere, your body will follow you. Me and God, we're not making any of this stuff up. Anything you do, your mind go first before you even do it. God is the mental plane. So if you are constantly visualizing, You could be doing this every single day. You could be prioritizing this once a day. You could be doing this technique multiple times a day. Because what you got to understand is that when you're visualizing something, your body must follow. Your body must follow. So this is why this technique is so important to access your highest timeline. I'm talking about for the big dreamers. I'm talking about the highest timeline. I'm not talking about, no, I just want a whole bunch of money. This technique ain't for you. This technique is for the person who really want to make a change in society, in your community. This is who this is for. This is who this technique is for. This is for people with the big dreams, the ones that's dreaming big, that got something to do. Don't use this for no measly, you can, but why? Why wouldn't you want to go for the biggest dream? Because that's what you deserve. So if you're going to be doing all this work, make it work for you. Make it work. If you're going to be doing all this visualizing and all this, make it work for you. Change your life the real way. Right? So, and here are some things I want you to keep in mind. At first, it may be material things that come up, right? Because we think that the American dream is the big dream, right? Where you're living in this nice car, nice house, everything is balanced. That, y'all, none of that exist. You ain't gonna never be in a place of, oh, everything is all good and okay. No, you are here in the third dimensional plane. There's contrast and adversity everywhere because you are designed to come here to expand and grow. So it can't be all good because that's mean that you've already made it to where you need to make it to. You don't need to be here no more then. You are experiencing contrast so you can launch a new rocket of desire so that way you can expand some more. If you don't experience any contrast, you're going to stay right there. You're going to stay comfortable and you're not going to, desire nothing else. You're not going to desire nothing else. What you living in and what you doing. Oh, hey, Karan. Hey, girl. Nice to see you. Well, kind to see you. I don't like saying nice to see you. But if you are not experiencing any contrast, anything to make you feel uncomfortable, anything, you're not going to desire more. Being uncomfortable makes you desire more. I know I got to this point in my life by desiring more, by being uncomfortable, by experiencing homelessness twice, right? By going through toxic relationships, right? That's how I got to this place in my life, by experiencing people who are not supporting me to a point where I had to say, well, let me figure out what I'm missing in my life, God, right? So all of those things catapulted me here. So you want to invite challenging. That's why you hear a lot of what they call it, fitness gurus. They say that, like, are you inviting and challenging your day? Like, so anyways, but the things that you want to access to really tap into that big dream is things like playfulness, right? That's why they say you need to get back connected to your inner child. Because when you were a child, you understood that this reality wasn't real. You knew that you had the ability to make believe whatever you wanted. Remember that. Go back to that place in your life where you understood that what was in front of you was not truly what it could be. You knew as a child that you can create and dream as big as you would have liked. You remember that. Trust me, I know you remember that. Get back to that kind of thought and reality. Like, wait, nothing is truly limited. The universe is abundance. When you understand the theory of the universe, you understand it's abundant. It's very vast in the way it provides. It's providing for everybody. So it must be abundant, right? If it was limited, it wouldn't be that many people here. If the universe was limited, it will only have so many people here. But everybody that's here is being provided for by the universe. Whether it's working for you or not, you are being provided for. So, lack, competition, scarcity, none of that stuff exists. That's been something that has been pushed upon your perception as you've grown into your adulthood. But anyways, playfulness, seductiveness, magnetism. Why? Because the universe is responding to these types of things, right? This is the conversation and the vibrational frequency that the universe understands. When you begin to be playful, when you begin to be seductive, when you begin to be sensual, when you begin to be magnetizing, hypnotizing, and enchanting, the universe will begin to respond to these things. Because that's the language of the universe. Energy, vibration, frequencies. Because you are just a light being. Do not let the skin fool you. This meat suit, don't let it fool you. You are light. Go within. That is what the universe is responding to. And so when you get into that place of playfulness, right, you're on a different vibrational frequency. Why do you think kids can play all day long? They are always in a state of overflow. That's why they got all that energy and playfulness, right? Because they don't have any limits on their mind. It's the fact that you grew up and you begin to acquire these limits, these limiting beliefs, right? And the universe is just responding to that. And so you've been highly suppressed so that you won't think about that big dream that you have. Because they know the power that those big dreams hold. My dream is big. That's the only reason why I'm on this platform. And God knows somebody's going to get activated in the process. And so we didn't come to play. We didn't come to play. Somebody's going to get activated before this 30-day live event is up. We don't care who it is. Somebody will be, though. So, step 4, right? Execute. I'm sorry. I am sorry. You're going to have to execute. I know y'all didn't think that, I was telling y'all all this stuff for you not to get busy, for you not to get activated, for you not to get embodied, right? You're going to have to execute. You should leave out of this visualizing process so inspired that you want to get busy, right? That's the note that I put on here. When I did this visualizing technique, I came out that session a whole new person. It helped me understand more of who I was. So let's go through the process, okay? So we're gonna go through the process again. You don't have to do step 1 all the time where you're going to go look for inspiration. This is just the very first time and when you're ready, right? Because this is something you have to be serious about. So don't do it like, oh, let me just see. If you're curious, okay. But if you're curious and you're really going to, go through with it, then I can see you doing that. But when you're ready to take on this challenge in your life, because it is a challenge, it's not just going to be as simple as these steps I'm giving you, but this is the blueprint. This is the blueprint. And when you're ready to do it, I truly believe if you're seeing this, that's when you're ready. God has already been encouraging your heart. You know this message is for you if God has already been encouraging your heart to get busy in your community, to get busy in what it is that you want to do, right? So step 1, get you some inspiration. And this don't always have to be what you do. You can go right to step 2 after you found your inspiration, right? But to get started, you need to find some inspiration because you need to have that energy around you, right? When you're doing your step 1 for the very first time, look for habits, Look for their energy. Look for opportunities that's around them. Look for the thing or niche that's in their life. Look for their level of worthiness and the characteristic traits that they have. Because this will begin to get your juices flowing. This is just to get your juices flowing. And once you get your juices flowing, you can start to say, okay, this is me. This is me. That's not me. This is me. That was cool, but that's not me, right? And so when you're watching this inspiration, that's probably the conversation you're going to be having with your higher self anyway. Like, that's cool, but I wouldn't do it like that. That's the type of notes you need to take down. Like, that was cool, but I wouldn't really necessarily do it like that. I'll do it this way. And so that's the type of stuff you take to the conversation you're going to have with God, right? Like, okay, I'll do it this way. I would add in my personality. I would take that out, right? And now you're beginning to visualize yourself in this particular opportunity. This is why inspiration is very important. We shouldn't look at it as jealousy, because that's in that process, that's not helping us. That's actually going to be a blockage. We're not going to be able to get past that jealousy, that envy, to really get into the opportunity, right? So while you're in this process, you're going to begin to ask yourself, that's an opportunity that's out here. That's a possibility. Who could I become inside of this opportunity too? Right? Based on the habits I just watched her have, are those some habits that I can take on? Right? Even if it's not today, can I take that process on maybe a year down the line? Right? Can I get myself in that position to be able to execute those habits? This is you getting the visualization process started. Right? You want to just get it started. Even if you can't see yourself doing some of these things today, you may have to move some things around to get yourself in a position to do that. Fine. Amazing. That's great. That is what the execution part is about. Because God is going to provide you with the next steps. You're not going to come out of this visualization technique without some next steps on what you need to do. So if that next step is, okay, I've visualized this person. I've seen what she's wanted. I've dreamt that big dream. God has ordained my steps already. God has revealed my next steps so that way I can get busy on this vision, right? And if that next step might be, I need to get myself into a position to where I don't have to go to work for 40 hours, right? I need to get myself into a position where I'm not living with a bunch of people. I might have to get myself into a position where I'm not living in the street. I'm not living from house to house, couch to couch, right? Because most of our millennials, that is what's going on. We don't have a stable place to be. We don't have a stable job to be in. We don't have a car. We don't even need a car, right? We don't need a car. I don't got no car. I be getting on the bus. And still get what I need to get done. As long as you have a means of transportation, it doesn't matter what it look like. It doesn't matter what that look like. So we got to stop. Yes, we definitely get together soon. Yes, ma'am. So make sure, and y'all know what? I could be on here. God had just said something to me. Girl, you could be on here preaching and teaching, but people need to see this in a format to where they can read. And so I'm going to create something, okay? I'm going to create like some kind of PDF document that you can download, because I don't know how many people want to come back here and watch this video over and over again, right? So I'm going to create a PDF for this particular video so it can be easier to access, so you can have it right in your face. So we are on step 3 and we asking ourselves these questions. And as we're asking ourselves these questions, you got to understand where you are. You're in your mind. You're in the quantum reality. You're no longer here in this dimension. You got to understand that you exist in different realities. And so when you know that, when you begin to visualize, you have to know that what you're seeing is your higher self. And when you begin to do this, you need to begin to steal juicy details from your higher self. When you begin to visualize, you're going to see that higher self like, oh, wow, that looks great. And so you'll start stealing inspiration from your higher self. We just had to get the inspiration from people outside of you so we could access the higher self. But now that we have that vision of the higher self, now we can steal juicy details from our higher self now. And we can start to harness that energy here. That's what quantum leaping is. Looking at and visualizing your higher self and saying, wow, that's what my higher self look like. What is the habits? What is she doing around her? How is she being? How is he being? What is he doing? What is the conversations that he's having? And you start to bring those personality traits here, because your personal reality is your personality. And so you're going to be stealing personal characteristics so you can bring that reality here. When you're in this visualizing technique, you're going to begin to see that higher self. And when you begin this process and you begin to be familiar with what your higher self look like, when you begin to receive visions, you're going to say, okay, that's God giving me the ability to steal some more details from my higher self. Don't miss that chance. Whenever you have that vision of yourself, that higher self, be like, okay, what kind of information can I get from her or from him today? Do not take that opportunity lightly. A lot of us have these visions of ourselves living in these dreams, and we just ignoring it and not stealing no juicy details and not bringing it here. That's free game. And you just letting it pass up and not doing nothing with it. That's literally free game. You ain't got to pay for that. That is, you are abundant like that. That's what abundance means. That's what overflow means. Where you are, you have access to your higher self at all times. So that's why step 4 is execute, because you're going to get the details, but it's your job to take those details and bring them here, because you're not going nowhere. That's what I want you to realize. You're not going anywhere. You're bringing your highest self here. A lot of people think like, dang, I know I'm going somewhere in my life. No, you ain't. You're not going nowhere. You stand right here in the present moment. Everything you're creating is going to be created right now. It's not going to be created when you get to another location. You're going to create it from right here in this present moment. So this is why visualizing is so very important. And knowing how to do it, right? That's the most important part. Knowing how to utilize the information that you're being given for free and making it work for you. But you gotta first ask yourself, am I scared to dream the biggest dream that I've ever dreamt? Because that's why you failed to pay attention to that vision, because you were scared. You're scared of it. And so, yes, you just think about her or him, and you just let it float away because you're afraid of what you see. But no more. 2024 is a no. That's not going to work in 2024 because they're not coming to play with you. I'm just be honest. It's getting real out here. They're not coming to play with you anymore. They know it's up, but you don't. They know you don't know too. And they're going to take advantage of it. So that's why that's not going to work in 2024. You're going to have to begin to tap into the universe. You're going to have to begin to tap into God. You're going to have to get activated. You're going to have to become embodied because they're not coming to play. They're not coming to play. The enemy is real. And so that's why me and God don't never come to play. Ever. Because we know what's on the line. We know what's on the line. Your life is on the line. And so do you want to keep sitting around, acting like you don't have nothing on your heart. Because that's what defeat look like. You have been defeated by the enemy. If you just sitting around with a vision and a whole dream on your heart and you ain't doing nothing about it. Execute. Step 4, execution. Execution. Utilize the technique. If you can hear me, God is talking to you. God is talking to you. It's time. So I want to talk about another way of visualizing. It's called quantum napping. And basically quantum napping allows you, when you're napping, you're in a resting place, right? You're in a complete resting place and your nervous system is at ease. It's easier for us to manifest things when our nervous system is at ease. Most people don't understand that manifestation just means that you have access to visions, to information, to knowledge, to wisdom. When you manifest things into your life, it comes as information. It comes as DNA, right? It don't come as a physical, right? Sometimes it comes physically, but most of the times it's very dark matter energy, right? Stuff that you cannot see. Is more feminine energy when you are manifesting. When you're manifesting, you're in your feminine energy, right? So the reason why you want a quantum nap is because when you are resting like that, you're going to be able to receive downloads, messages, information from the angelic realm, from your highest self, a lot easier than you would if you were just walking throughout your day, right? Handling a task. But if you make it a point for you to take a nap and you think about yourself and you visualize yourself, I do this all the time, y'all. I think and visualize myself and I fall into a nap. When I fall into that nap, I begin to receive downloads about what it is, who I am as my higher self. Right? So it's literally like I'm downloading, unlocking codes within my DNA as I'm resting. And I don't even have to do nothing. This is what abundance means. You have access to that. You have access to that. So as I'm resting, I'm literally downloading DNA, right? I'm unlocking codes. I'm just receiving information. I'm receiving inspiration, right? Stuff that make me get up and say, wow, I'm a really great person. So quantum napping will be important too, because you can go from one reality to the next just by taking a nap. Because you're not going anywhere, sweetheart. You're not going anywhere. Everything is coming to you. That's why they say don't chase no dream. You attract what it is that you are going to become by way of information. So you're not going anywhere. Stop thinking you're going somewhere, because you're not. You're not going anywhere. Everything comes to you when you understand that you are the main component of the universe. You understand that the universe is coming to provide for you, meaning it's already coming your way. You just have to be on the vibrational frequency that you would like to be on to be a vibrational match to the things that you would like to experience. But sometimes things like our nervous system does get in the way, where we are repelling what it is that we would like. But that's why I have 13 more videos of things that you could do to keep your nervous system at bay, so that way you can receive the manifestations. Because like I said, everything is coming to you. If you want to make space for bigger manifestations, you have to open up your aura. Your nervous system has to be at a relaxed state because you're receiving information. That's what you're doing. You're just receiving information on who it is that you already are. Your highest self is speaking to you at all times. But if you got stuff in the way, if you got competition in the way, if you got lack in the way, if you got I'm limited in the way, ain't nothing coming. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard for your highest self to be like, here you go. You know, I got your back. This is what your next steps are. Your destiny is ordained, honey. It's already done. It's already done. So I need you to be relaxed. I need you visualizing who you're. I need you connecting. What you think visualizing is. Make no mistake. Visualizing is you talking to your higher self. Y'all are making a connection in that moment. Hey, girl. You know, I'm coming to get some information. What you got for me? What's up, bro? I came to get some information. What you got for me? This technique is so important. So like I was saying, you don't always have to do that first step, but when you begin, you want to get some inspiration. You want to get the juices flowing. So that way, when you go into more of these sessions with yourself, you know exactly what it is you're looking for. You know exactly who you are, right? Because you've already had a session with yourself. You've already had a conversation. And now it's just a continuation of what you already had been experiencing. You're always going to get your next steps. You're always going to get your next steps. Okay? Yay! Visualization? No, no, for real, because it's fun once you begin to really fall in love with the process of this stuff, and you mix it with meditation. You mix it with all the other stuff that I've been talking about for this past 30 days. I think you will begin to see a different reality. But this is information that is not common, right? It's so not common. And so no wonder we're at a disadvantage, because this is not common information. But this is why God is here. This is why God activated me. This is why I had to begin to get embodied, because I had a passion to call people to their highest selves. That was what my passion was, because I knew, oh my gosh, we need this. We need this, because we've been at the bottom way too long, and that's not how God works. Especially not the chosen ones. Like, where they do that at? How the chosen ones at the bottom of the map? Yeah, it's a no. And so, like I said, the goal is to activate somebody. 18 days. I got 18 days. Hi, thanks for joining. I have 18 days to activate me somebody. Okay. So I've made it to my hour, you guys. I made it. And I don't want to make this video too long, because a lot of people, they come watch the playback. And so if you guys don't have any questions or anything, I am going to get off of here, but I hope that you guys take this technique and integrate it into your life, meaning you are going to experience some enlightenment as you go about this process, meaning step 4, execution. Yeah, execution. You ain't leaving here without no homework. That's just how God works. Like, no, you need to do some homework. So thank you guys for joining, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye on Instagram. See y'all later. Thank you.